Picture this: the flicker of torchlight, a musty room behind thick stone walls, and a young woman sitting stiff-backed on a wooden bench. The air smells of lavender and beeswax, an attempt to mask the scent of old stone and nervous sweat. Outside, bells toll slowly, one by one. Tomorrow is her wedding day. Tonight she prepares. You're about to drift through a time when marriage was a contract, a currency, and sometimes a battlefield. When wedding nights were wrapped in fear, ritual, and more than a little superstition. You'll walk in their shoes, soft leather or rough wool. You'll smell the cold hearth, the herbs strung from the rafters. You'll hear whispered prayers and the creak of old wood. Spoiler: love stories will happen. Congratulations, not always the way you think. Take a breath. Let your shoulders drop. The past will wait for us to begin. Picture this: you wake to the thin light of dawn slipping through a tiny slit in the stone wall. Cold air licks your face. You curl deeper into the scratchy wool of your blanket. Sleep clings to your limbs, but the sound of hushed voices outside the door pulls you back. A distant rooster crows. Another answers. Then another. The chorus builds until it fills the gray morning with sharp bursts of sound. You blink. Above you, rough beams cross the low ceiling. Spider webs shimmer between them, trembling with each draft. The scent of damp wood, smoke, and lavender oil fills your nose. It's the day before your wedding. You know it before your mind fully wakes. Your body remembers. Nerves flutter low in your belly. You stretch. The chill in the air tightens your skin. Heat, none. Privacy, none. Hope, a threadbare thing. Feet shuffle outside. A woman's voice, low, urgent. Then the scrape of a wooden latch lifting. The door opens just wide enough for your nursemaid, a stocky woman with red cheeks and a linen cap pulled tight. Up now. The bath's near ready. You swing your legs over the side of the bed. The stone floor is ice beneath your bare feet. You wince but stand. Your shift, undyed linen, clings damply where your skin sweated in the night. You rub your arms briskly, chasing warmth that won't come. As you move, the room speaks. The creak of a worn floorboard, the swish of wool against linen, the muted hiss of breath through cold, numbed lips. Out the door, the hall is darker. Torches burn low in sconces, their fat melting slowly. You pass under garlands of rosemary and bay, meant to cleanse the air and ward off bad fortune. The scent is sharp, bitter. Through a side door, steam curls in the dim light. A wooden tub sits in the center of the floor, half filled with water warmed over the kitchen hearth. Two serving girls pour in another bucket, faces flushed from the heat. You shiver and step forward. Fingers fumble with your shift. The fabric pools at your feet. You lower yourself into the water, hot on the surface, cooling beneath. Gooseflesh blooms along your arms. You lean back. The steam opens your pores. The lavender oil prickles in your nose. Outside, church bells ring prime. The day begins. Yours today will be long. A question tugs at you. Will this union bring happiness, or another kind of life entirely? A young scullery maid passes, her eyes darting sideways. Her future, a shadow of yours, with fewer choices still. You breathe deep and close your eyes. For now, the water holds you. And so the morning creeps onward. Picture this. You step from the bath, shivering, wrapped in a coarse linen towel that smells faintly of ash. The air bites your skin. The hearth may have burned all night, but the stone walls hoard the cold. Your nursemaid rubs your hair with surprising force. "No sickness now," she mutters. "Tomorrow's too near." She knots a clean shift at your waist. It hangs loose, still damp against your back. You pad barefoot down the hallway toward your chamber. Your soles know this path, rough wood, worn smooth in places, splintered in others. The air shifts as you enter the room, cooler, somehow damper. Somewhere in the beams above, a mouse scratches softly. A stray flea bites your ankle. You slap instinctively. Welcome to a noble house in high summer. Heat trapped in pockets. Humidity clinging to stone. Parasites inevitable. You sit on a wide oak chest. Its surface bears knife scars and candle drips from years past. The room smells of beeswax, lavender, and beneath it all, a sour, living scent. Humans pressed close. Your nursemaid opens the shutters. Morning light floods in, pale, watery, a thin warmth that won't reach your bones. The countryside sprawls beyond, meadows trembling with mist, smoke rising from distant cottages. A thrush sings from the rafters. The song, bright and liquid, seems too carefree for today. You scratch another bite. The fleas came from the rushes on the floor, replaced last week, but already alive with tiny leapers. The straw mattress isn't much better. Mites feast where bodies sleep. An elderly maid stoops to sweep. She pauses to scratch her own wrist, then resumes. You exchange a glance. Shared nuisance, silent truce. You run a comb through your hair, bone teeth catching on unseen knots. Head lice are common, though few speak of them. Spoiler: many brides shave their heads and wear silk veils to mask the loss. Congratulations. Your mother insists on long hair. You braid it carefully. Thick and dark, it falls like a rope down your back. From the corridor, a snatch of song, maids bustling. The house stirs toward the great event. A question lingers. Will this place be yours after tonight? Or merely a shell you drift through? At the window, a girl no older than 12 carries a basket of herbs. Her future? Likely wed before the next 2 summers pass. You sigh. The air tastes faintly of wood smoke and coming rain. And so the day moves forward. Picture this. A worn ewer of cool water waits on a carved wooden stand. Beside it, a chipped basin lined with faint limescale. No silver, no luxury, just tools of the morning ritual. Your fingers are stiff with cold. You dip them into the water, flinch, and begin. Face first. Cupped hands bring brisk splashes that tighten your skin. You scrub cheeks, chin, the line of your brow. The water smells faintly of iron and moss, drawn from the manor well just before dawn. Teeth? A rough linen cloth and salt. You rub the grains across enamel already worn by coarse bread. The taste, sharp, bitter, almost metallic. You gag once, breathe through your nose, and continue. Mouth rinsed, you lean over the basin. A sliver of your reflection stares back, eyes wide with worry. You look away. Underarms next, dabbed with cloth soaked in lavender and vinegar. The sting pulls another shiver from your bones. Tomorrow, you must smell of herbs and virtue, not sweat and fear. The nursemaid watches, hawk-eyed. Don't forget the joints, she reminds. Elbows, behind the knees, and, she gestures vaguely, the rest. You obey. The ritual matters more than comfort. And then, nature's call. You cross the hall to a small, dark room, bare stone, a narrow bench with a gaping hole. The manor's privy. Below, a cesspit waits, rank and buzzing with flies. Tepid air rises as you sit. You hold your breath. Privacy, none. Odor, overwhelming. Relief, necessary. You finish quickly, wiping with a rag that will be washed and reused. Soap? Rare. You rinse your hands with another jug of water, shake them dry. Spoiler: hygiene here is a constant battle, fought with vinegar, herbs, and stubborn will. Congratulations, you've survived another round. As you step back into the hall, fresh air greets you like an old friend. A rooster crows again, closer this time. A young boy passes with a load of firewood. His arms tremble beneath the weight. He grins shyly, missing 2 front teeth. His morning, already begun hours before yours. You glance toward the solar, where women gather to stitch and chatter. Soon you'll join them, your final day as an unmarried woman. For now, you breathe deep. The scent of rosemary drifts faintly through the air, and the house hums toward noon. Picture this: a low, smoky hall where beams vanish into shadows above. You sit at a long oak table, rough beneath your palms. The air smells of burnt fat, stale ale, and baking bread. Your stomach tightens. Hunger and nerves make uneasy companions. Before you, coarse trenchers of day-old bread, hollowed to cradle bits of meat and broth. No plates, no finery. The bread will soak the juices, then be discarded or fed to the poor. A wooden spoon rests beside your trencher. Its handle is worn smooth, dark with years of use. Knives? You carry your own, small, sharp, essential. A serving maid arrives with a jug of thin ale, safer than water. You sip cautiously. It tastes of sour grain and faint smoke. The warmth spreads slowly through your chest. Steam rises from a pot of pottage. Beans, barley, leeks, flavored with scraps of ham bone. The cook ladles portions into the trenchers. You scoop a spoonful, earthy, bland, but filling. Beside you, your nursemaid eats with swift, practiced motions. "Good stout food," she says. "Keep your strength for the day." You nod, though appetite eludes you. The pottage settles heavy in your belly. At the table's far end, your father speaks with a grizzled steward. Words drift your way: dowry, land, alliances. You look down, feigning disinterest. A question surfaces: is this truly your day, or theirs? A boy scurries past with a basket of apples. You catch one and rub it clean on your shift. Its skin gleams red and gold. A bite, crisp, tart, a bright note in a muted meal. Fingers sticky, you wipe them on a scrap of cloth. The hall buzzes with low voices, clinks of spoons against wood, the occasional cough. A hunched man by the door chews slowly, eyes half closed. His hands, scarred, nails blackened, speak of long years at forge or field. His story, carved in silence. You rise as the meal ends. The table clears. Trenchers, sodden and limp, vanish into baskets. Ale jugs empty. The hall breathes again. Spoiler, noble feasts will come. Congratulations. They will be no less strange. You step into the pale sunlight beyond the door. The courtyard bustles, horses snort, servants hurry, banners snap in the breeze. And so the day gathers speed. Picture this: your chamber hums with voices. 3 women flutter about like restless birds, lifting, folding, pinning. In their hands, layers of fabric shimmer and fall. You stand still, arms raised. A deep breath won't come, your ribs already bound in a stiff linen corset. Breath, shallow. Freedom, less. Elegance, mandatory. The first layer, a clean shift of fine linen, softer than your nightclothes but no less plain. It hugs damp skin, cool and thin. Next, stockings of wool, their tops tied with braided cords. They itch faintly against freshly scrubbed legs. You flex your toes, small rebellion. A pair of leather shoes waits nearby, soles thick, toes blunt. They smell of smoke and tallow, fresh from the cobbler's hands. Now the real work begins. A long undergown of pale wool, soft, heavy, settles over your shoulders. Its sleeves brush your wrists, hems trailing the floor. The color? Modest. The cut? Conservative, befitting a bride of standing. Over this, a surcoat of deeper hue, blue, edged in embroidered vines. The fabric, dyed with woad and madder, speaks wealth without shouting. Subtlety is a virtue today. Your hair is next. Hours will be spent weaving, braiding, coiling. A net of gold threads lies ready to catch every strand. Spoiler: by night's end, it will tangle beyond rescue. Congratulations. That's tomorrow's worry. A veil of silk, sheer and faintly perfumed, waits folded nearby. Its threads, precious, imported, carry tales of distant lands you'll never see. You shift. The weight of the garments settles on your shoulders. Mobility limited. Dignity preserved. Your nursemaid steps back to assess. A proper bride, she declares. You try to smile. From the corner, a younger maid watches wide-eyed. Her dress, plain wool, unadorned, hints at her future hopes. Today she learns by observation. At last, the final touch. A slender girdle of braided silk and silver, cinched at your waist. It gleams faintly in the dim light, a symbol of virtue, of readiness, of restraint. A question curls in your mind. Will these trappings guard you or bind you tighter? The hour grows late. Outside, the sun climbs higher, shadows sharpening on stone, and so the preparations continue. Picture this. The great gate creaks open, iron-bound oak groaning on ancient hinges. A cart waits beyond, broad-wheeled, wood dark with age and grease. You step down from the stone threshold, skirts lifted above the muck. Rain fell in the night. The yard is slick, smelling of mud and horse. A man-at-arms offers a calloused hand. You grasp it, cold and rough, and climb into the cart. Beneath you, rough planks shift with your weight. No cushions, no comfort. Your nursemaid joins, muttering about roads and omens. 2 oxen snort in their yoke, steam rising from broad backs. A driver clicks his tongue. The cart lurches forward. The journey begins, through the gate and onto the rutted path. Mud sucks at the wheels. The cart sways, jerking with each stone and root. You grip the sides, knuckles white. Wind cuts through your veil. Your breath fogs the air. The countryside blurs. Bare trees, frost-silvered hedgerows. Crows rising in black clouds. Dangers here are many. Deep ruts to trap the wheels. Bandits in wooded lanes. Even wolves drawn close by lean times. Spoiler, most days pass without disaster. Congratulations. Today, you hope for the same. The driver whistles, a low, tuneless sound. His eyes flick constantly to the shadows beneath bare branches. You pass a wayside cross, weathered and leaning. A reminder, not all travelers arrive. A lone rider appears ahead, cloak billowing. He slows, tips his cap. You glance down, face hidden behind silk. Etiquette observed. Further on, the road narrows between high banks. The cart slows, the driver tenses. You hold your breath. No ambush. Only a fox darting across the path, brush-tail flashing red. Your heart slows. An old peasant trudges past, sack over shoulder. His eyes, clouded, resigned, barely flick toward your finery. His day holds no feast. You press on. Villages blur past. Timber frames leaning, smoke curling from thatch. Children gape from doorways, mouths open in awe. A bride's passage is rare spectacle. The sun tilts westward. Light softens. The cart rumbles toward its destination. And so the road unwinds beneath you. Picture this. A village stirs beneath thin smoke and pale sun. You pass slowly in your cart, gaze flicking through the veil at the rhythm of their day. A blacksmith's hammer rings sharp against iron. Clang, clang, hiss. Sparks leap, die mid-air. The man's arms glisten with sweat, eyes narrowed in focus. His apprentice pumps the bellows, face smudged and eager. Next door, a weaver works a great wooden loom. The creak of treadles, the thunk of the shuttle, steady as a heartbeat. Her fingers move with practiced grace, drawing linen from raw flax. A baker emerges from a low stone oven, arms laden with dark loaves. The scent reaches even through the cart's musty cover, yeast, ash, and comfort. You breathe deep. Further on, fields stretch ragged under winter's touch. Men bend to the soil, spades biting frost-hard earth. Their breath steams in ragged clouds. Women gather fallen wood, skirts dark with damp. Spoiler, their toil will outlast your journey. Congratulations, your hands remain unblistered, for now. Children dart through muddy lanes, barefoot, laughing, wild with cold joy. One stops, stares at your passing cart, eyes wide with a blend of awe and longing. You wonder, does she dream of silk and silver, or merely of shoes and bread? A tanner hauls hides to a low shed, its stench unmistakable even from the road. The air shifts, bitter, eye-watering. You pull your veil closer. Past the market cross, a cooper shapes staves for a new barrel. His mallet sounds hollow against oak, rhythm sure, unhurried. And near the well, a woman scrubs linen in icy water, knuckles raw and red. Her gaze meets yours, brief, unreadable. In that glance, 1,000 unspoken truths. The cart rumbles on, the village fades behind. And so the peasant's day grinds steadily forward. Picture this. The cart slows before a grand hall of timber and stone. Banners snap in the wind, their faded colors marking lineage older than memory. You descend carefully, skirts gathered. Stone steps bite cold through thin shoes. Servants bow low as you pass. A ripple of deference, rehearsed but wary. Within, the air shifts, warmer, thick with wood smoke and beeswax. Light filters through narrow windows, painting the flagstones gold. The noble household hums with controlled purpose. In the solar, your mother sits in council with stewards and scribes. Rolls of parchment litter the table. Tax records, land grants, marriage contracts. The quills scratch incessantly. A steward reads aloud, voice dry as dust. 2 oxen lost to mire, 3 bushels short from tenant farm. The words weigh heavier than gold. Spoiler. Wealth here is illusion, measured in grain and muscle. Congratulations, you're about to become part of the ledger. Down a side corridor, men-at-arms drill in the yard. Blades clash, shields ring. The captain barks commands, voice slicing the winter air. A clerk crosses your path, arms full of scrolls. His tunic strains at the seams. Feast days bring as much record-keeping as revelry. In the great chamber, artisans labor to ready the space. Tapestries hang from high beams, scenes of battle, of piety, of long-dead ancestors gazing sternly down. 2 seamstresses crouch by the high table, stitching fresh gold thread into the faded cloth. Their fingers move fast. Time presses close. And in a corner, a young page polishes silver goblets to a mirror shine. His eyes flick toward you, curious, shy. Beyond, the kitchens roar with life. Pots bubble, knives thud against worn boards. The scent of roasting meat swirls thick. A cook curses as a scullion upends a basket of onions. The boy scrambles to gather them, cheeks flushed with shame. His day will stretch long into night. You watch it all, this intricate dance of duty and display. Soon you'll step fully into its rhythm. A question lingers. Will you master this world, or be mastered by it? The sun begins to sink, shadows stretching long across the flagstones. And so the noble day winds toward its climax. Picture this. The market square thrums with life beneath a slate-gray sky. Stalls lean like old men, draped in canvas, patched and worn. Smoke from cook fires curls into the cold air. Your cart halts near the entrance. A servant offers his arm. You step down, veil drawn low. The crowd barely parts. Eyes flick toward your finery, then away. Curiosity is a dangerous indulgence here. The ground squelches underfoot. Mud churned by countless boots, hooves, and wheels. The air smells of wet wool, raw fish, and unwashed bodies. Beneath it all, a faint tang of fear. Coin and survival dance close here. Merchants bellow their wares. Fresh eels, sweet apples, iron nails, 2 for 1. A cloth seller displays bolts of faded blue and coarse brown. You finger the fabric, rough, uneven. Imported silks lie beneath, guarded by a narrow-eyed man with fingers heavy in rings. Spoiler, those rings came from more than honest trade. Congratulations. Today you'll buy nothing yourself. A tax collector weaves through the crowd, flanked by two guards. His face, pinched, eyes sharp, misses little. Coins jingle in his pouch. Curses follow his steps. Near the fountain, a swindler hawks miracle salves. Cure for fever, banish pox. His smile gleams, teeth too perfect by half. A farmer woman hesitates, coins trembling in her calloused hand. You watch as he pockets the silver, handing over a vial of colored oil. A lesson, silent and clear. Children dart past, laughing, sticky with honeyed nuts. One nearly collides with your skirts. You steady him. He stares wide-eyed before vanishing into the throng. At the far end, a fishwife shouts over the din. Her stall reeks of salt and sea. Scales glisten on her apron, eyes fierce beneath her scarf. A beggar crouches by the steps, palm outstretched. Few spare a glance. His eyes, clouded, resigned, meet yours for a heartbeat. You press a coin into his hand, a small defiance. From the church tower, a bell tolls tierce. Time slips fast here. A question lingers. Behind each trade and coin, who truly profits? The market shifts, never still. Deals made, fortunes lost, lives bargained beneath gray skies. And so the tide of trade rolls onward. Picture this. Dusk settles over the town square, bruising the sky in shades of indigo and ash. Torches flare to life, their smoke twisting with the chill wind. You stand beneath a makeshift awning, skirts gathered to avoid the mud. The air hums with something older than trade, anticipation. Tonight, the market is a stage. A troupe of jugglers tumbles into the square, balls and blades flashing in the firelight. Children shriek with delight. Adults watch with wary smiles. Spoiler, a nimble hand juggles coins as deftly as knives. Congratulations, yours stay close tonight. Beyond them, a crude wooden arena rises, ropes and poles bound tight. Men gather too deep, ale sloshing in rough cups. A fight is promised. You glimpse the combatants, bare-chested, scarred, eyes burning with hunger or pride. Bets fly faster than sense. Copper clinks, silver gleams, a flash of gold from one bold fool. A voice whispers near your ear, an offer of odds. You step away. This spectacle is not yours to enter. Elsewhere, musicians strike up a wild tune. Pipes, drums, a battered fiddle. Feet stamp, skirts whirl. A circle forms, drawing young and old alike. You watch a moment, pulse quickening with the rhythm. A question stirs. When did you last dance freely? Near the church wall, a makeshift gaming table draws a tighter crowd. Bones clatter, cards slap worn wood. A young squire curses softly, coins slipping away with each cast. A veiled woman, eyes sharp, lips curved, rakes in winnings with lazy grace. You meet her gaze. It lingers a beat too long. Beyond the press, a puppet stage flickers with crude shadows. Children gape, faces painted with wonder and fear. The tale, old as time, speaks of betrayal, love, and fate. You turn away. Some stories cut too close tonight. A boy races past, arms full of sweetmeats. His laughter rings bright, fleeting as the warmth in your chest. The bell tolls Compline. The square breathes a little slower, but the night is far from done. And so the festival beats on beneath the stars. Picture this. Dawn's pale light creeps over the town square, gilding old stone and empty stalls. The night's revelry lies in tatters, mud-smeared ribbons, broken cups, a single shoe lost beneath the fountain. But today brings a different gathering. You arrive as the crowd forms once more, tighter now, faces drawn and hushed. The air tastes of cold iron and coming judgment. At the square's heart, a rough wooden scaffold waits. Its beams creak under a morning frost. Near it, a pillory stands ready, oak worn smooth by countless necks and wrists. A crier steps forward, voice sharp as the morning chill. Hear ya, hear ya? The charges unfold: petty theft, assault, heresy. Some accused stand trembling. Others glare defiantly. You watch from beneath your veil, heart tight. Justice here is swift, public, and far from blind. Spoiler: mercy is a rare coin. Congratulations. You need not plead for it today. The first punishment is simple: fines and restitution. Coins change hands with shaking fingers. Relief and resentment dance in the same glance. Next, the pillory. A young man, face bloodied from his arrest, is locked into place. The crowd jeers, rotten fruit flies. You flinch, turning your gaze away, but the whispers draw your ear. Soon, a harsher sentence. Guards drag a gaunt woman forward, clothes torn, eyes hollow. Her crime? Witchcraft, they claim. Proof? A neighbor's misfortune, a goat gone lame. A question stirs. Whose vengeance hides behind the law today? She is led not to the pillory, but to the jail, thick walls beneath the keep, where light seldom reaches. Few return whole from its depths. You glimpse the entrance as the door swings wide, a black maw swallowing the condemned. Chains rattle faintly within. Near the scaffold, a grizzled headsman sharpens his blade. Today, it rests idle. Tomorrow, who knows? A beggar tugs your sleeve as you pass. His words slur with fear. Justice for them, not for us. You press a coin into his palm, your own hand trembling slightly. And so the shadow of the law lengthens across the square. Picture this. The manor smells different today. Sharp vinegar, crushed herbs, and the faint sour note of sickness barely held at bay. A page stumbles through the hall, pale and sweating. Word spreads faster than feet. A fever has touched the kitchen boy. You retreat to your chamber, veil drawn tight. Fear is the true contagion here. The healer arrives at midday. A stooped old woman clad in dark wool, pouch heavy with dried roots and whispered charms. Her eyes gleam sharp beneath the hood. She moves through the rooms with brisk authority, scattering bundles of rue and wormwood. Air must be kept sweet, she mutters, and spirits stronger still. Spoiler: her knowledge blends wisdom and guesswork. Congratulations, both are needed equally today. You watch as she brews a foul-smelling decoction. Mugwort, sage, honey barely masking the bitterness. The patient drinks, shudders, sweats anew. Nearby, a priest murmurs prayers, his voice a thin thread against the silence. A cross swings from his fingers, worn smooth by desperate touch. Superstition weaves through every glance. Mirrors are covered, knives placed beneath pillows, windows cracked open to let out evil humors. A question stirs. Do these rites soothe the sick, or only the fearful? In the hall, servants sprinkle salt across thresholds, a charm against unseen forces. You step carefully, unwilling to break the fragile barrier. A young maid fingers a sprig of rosemary tied at her wrist. For luck, she whispers, eyes wide. You nod, unsure if the gesture is foolish or wise. The healer passes you, hands stained green and brown. You're strong yet, she says, voice like dry leaves. Stay so. You breathe deep, but the air feels thick with unseen dread. By nightfall, the fevered boy rests easier. A reprieve, perhaps. No victory is certain here. You lie awake long after the candles gutter. In the hush, every creak, every cough tightens your chest. And so the long night of illness stretches onward. Picture this. Dawn spills pale gold across the manor's worn stones. A new day stirs, but your heart treads heavier paths. Your mother summons you to the solar. Sunlight slants through leaded glass, catching motes in its beams. The air smells of ink, beeswax, and lavender long faded. Before you, parchment seals a heavy signet, the marriage contract. You kneel, fingers cold against the ancient wood. Words drone above your bowed head. Lands promised, coin exchanged. Alliance is bound in blood and vow. Spoiler, love is not the currency here. Congratulations, alliances at least can be honored. Later, beneath high beams, your mother speaks low. Marriage is duty, children a blessing and a shield. Her gaze holds yours, unflinching. You nod, though your pulse flutters fast. In the nursery below, the echoes of this duty play out. A young wet nurse croons softly, babe at her breast. The child blinks sleepily, milk-drunk and innocent. Its world, warmth, arms, and lullabies in a tongue older than law. A toddler stumbles across rush-strewn floors, chased by a gray-haired nurse. His laughter rings bright, untouched by tomorrow's burdens. You watch unseen from the doorway. A question stirs. Will your children laugh so freely, or tread paths worn by duty? In a shadowed corner, a governess recites lessons to two solemn girls. Psalms, manners, the spindle's craft, virtue stitched with every word. A boy studies at the window, tracing faded Latin on a wax tablet. His world narrows to lines and letters, the weight of a future already written. Beyond, a mother rocks a feverish child. Her lips move in silent prayer, fingers smoothing sweat-soaked hair. Love here is fierce, fragile, measured in heartbeats and sleepless nights. You turn away, thoughts heavy. Upstairs, the seamstress fits your final gown. You'll make a fine lady, she murmurs, hands deft on silk. You smile thinly, words caught behind your teeth. Outside, bells toll sext. Time folds closer. And so the pattern of family and fate winds tighter. Picture this. Midday light slants through the great hall's high windows, pooling gold on worn flagstones. The manor hums with industry, less grand than feast day splendor, more vital. You drift through its pulse. Soon this rhythm will be yours to oversee. In the kitchen, the air hangs thick with heat and smoke. A cauldron bubbles over open flame, scenting the room with herbs and rich broth. A cook stirs steadily, sleeves rolled, sweat gleaming on her brow. Patience, she mutters. Flavor comes slow. Spoiler, much like alliances. Congratulations, you've tasted both. A spit turns by hand. Fat hisses as it drips. The boy cranking it yawns, soot smudged on his cheek. Long hours breed longer patience here. You pass storerooms where barrels stand stacked. Salted fish, dried beans, apples wrapped in straw. A mouse scurries unseen. No larder escapes their hunger. In the still room, an older woman strains cordial through cloth. The sharp tang of elderflower fills the air. Bottles gleam dark in the dim light, each holding a small measure of health or comfort. A question stirs. How many secrets steep unseen in these quiet jars? Beyond, laundry flaps in the courtyard breeze. Linen bleached pale, wool hung heavy with moisture. A scullery maid beats rugs with fierce rhythm, dust rising in golden clouds. In the buttery, a youth seals jars with wax. The scent of honey, beeswax, and damp earth lingers. His fingers move quick, deft with practice. Near the hearth, a young girl mends torn hose, needle flashing. Her song, a soft, wordless tune, drifts upward like smoke. You pause, watching the small dance of household tasks. Their steady, unseen magic holds the manor upright. The bell tolls none. Shadows shift. You return to your chamber, skirts trailing softly. A tray waits. Bread, cheese, pears jeweled with dew. You eat alone, thoughts circling. Soon, these quiet rhythms may offer more solace than courtly words or gilded halls. And so the day's small labors weave their unseen tapestry. Picture this. Twilight settles over the town like a thick cloak. Smoke rises from crooked chimneys, mingling with the first stars. The manor windows flicker faintly, yellow and warm against deepening blue. You stand at the chamber window, veil drawn aside. Below, the village begins its nightly transformation. A tavern door swings wide, light spilling out in a rough-edged welcome. Laughter, loud and raw, cuts through the evening hush. Spoiler, no fine courtly tales inside. Congratulations, truth flows freer here than in any gilded hall. Inside, men crowd rough tables, hands clasping mugs of dark ale. A bard tunes a battered lute, voice worn with use. The song, half lament, half bawdy jest, draws smiles and groans alike. Smoke curls thick as fog, the air tastes of spilled drink, sweat, and wood smoke. A sharp contrast to the lavender-scented halls you left behind. At the hearth, a game of dice clatters on scarred wood. Coins flash, tempers flicker. One man curses low. Fortune favors no one forever. You watch unseen, curiosity and caution warring. A serving maid weaves through the throng, tray balanced high. Her eyes flick sharp, warding hands from greedy grasp. Her laugh rings false, practiced. Near the door, a soldier slumps in shadow. His gaze, half-lidded, follows nothing. His scars speak of battles beyond this place, of stories too costly to tell. Outside, children dart between legs, chasing the last scraps of light. Their mothers call, voices rising above the din. A baker hauls flour to his shop. Tomorrow's loaves begin tonight. His shoulders sag, steps slow. Day's end holds no rest for him. A question stirs. How many lives spin beneath your world? Unseen, unsung. Further off, a cloaked figure vanishes down an alley. No light follows. Some errands thrive only in darkness. A bell tolls Compline. Slowly the streets thin. Voices fade, shutters close. Only the tavern glows stubborn against the night. You draw the curtain. The manor's hush wraps close once more. And so the town yields to the deepening dark. Picture this. The manor quiets. Voices dimmed beneath the weight of coming night. In a side chamber lit by a single wavering flame, an elder aunt beckons you close. Her hands, knotted with age, veins raised, clasp yours in a grip stronger than you'd expect. Listen well, she begins, voice dry as parchment. Words and silk will take you far, but knowing when to bite your tongue will take you farther. Spoiler. Wisdom here is earned by scars. Congratulations. You still have time to choose yours. She leans in, breath scented faintly of sage and wine. 3 things, child. Remember them. 1. Know the kitchens. Bread and salt are power. A well-fed servant is a loyal one. Starve them, and knives turn unseen. 2. Coins may silence a tongue, but kindness binds it. A kind word to the right ear outlasts gold. Know whose ear it is. 3. Walls have holes. Words have wings. Trust no chamber fully, no ally blindly. Speak truths only when stone and sky hear alone. You nod, pulse quick beneath your calm facade. She smiles, a flash of teeth. Good. You'll need more than pretty gowns where you're going. Later, by the hearth, another elder, a stoop-shouldered steward, joins the gathering. His advice is simpler, blunter. Keep 3 things by your bed. A sharp knife, a full lamp, and shoes fit for running. You blink. He grins, eyes twinkling. Life turns fast. Be ready when it does. A question stirs. How many nights has he faced such turns? An old maid adds her piece. Half jest, half truth. For love, marry eyes that laugh. For fortune, eyes that watch. For survival, eyes that see all. The room hums with quiet agreement. Laughter follows, weary but warm. You sip honeyed wine, the sweetness grounding the bitter truths. Above, the great bell tolls vespers. Shadows deepen, words linger. And so the elder's counsel weaves into your growing armor. Picture this. The manor sleeps. Stone corridors stretch silent beneath the weight of midnight. Tapestries barely stir. The hearth glows low, embers pulsing like a tired heart. You lie in your chamber, veiled beneath heavy wool. Sleep, distant. Breath slow, thoughts faster. Spoiler. No comfort in silk tonight. Congratulations. Clarity comes colder, sharper. The moon casts pale bars across the floor. You trace them absently, mind circling. Tomorrow, vows spoken, Life shifted, name half lost. A question stirs. Who will you be when dawn breaks? Beneath your window, an owl calls. 3 notes, low and certain. Its shadow flickers past. Across the courtyard, faint voices rise. A late watch, perhaps, or restless souls. You listen, heartbeat matching their quiet rhythm. The elder's words return, unwelcome yet grounding. Knife, lamp, shoes, eyes that see. You sit, shift to the small chest by the bed. Fingers brush worn leather, cold steel, not much, but enough. The lamp burns low, sweet oil, faint smoke curling upward. Its glow casts shadows long and strange. In the hush, you recall fleeting faces. Mother's measured gaze, father's distant nod, the wet nurse's hum, the kitchen boy's fevered breaths. Lives spun round yours, each thread taut tonight. A lone footstep echoes in the corridor. You tense, breath caught. It passes, slow, steady, familiar. The night is not yet done testing you. You rise, cross the room. The window's chill seeps through linen. Beyond, stars sharp as blades, sky deep as a well. A maid stirs in sleep nearby, soft murmur lost to the dark. You envy her peace. You whisper a small prayer, not to saints or relics, but to yourself. Strength, patience, clarity. And so the night holds you silent and waiting. Picture this. The first breath of dawn creeps through the narrow window, soft, cold, unassuming. It brushes your face where you lie, eyes open in the dim gray. No bell has rung yet. No servant stirs. The manor holds its breath, caught in that fragile moment between night and day. You rise slowly, feet touching chill stone. The chamber hums faintly with life not yet begun. Coals shifting in the hearth, wind whispering past old shutters. Your breath hangs pale in the air. You watch it fade, then reach for your shawl. The wool itches, comforting in its roughness. Spoiler, the sun will rise whether you will it or not. Congratulations, you rise with it. At the window, you lean out, veil forgotten. The sky, pearled with thin clouds, hints at pale blue beneath. The village lies hushed, roofs silvered with frost. Far off, a single cock crows, sharp, certain. One sound stirs another. Life begins to gather its threads again. You close your eyes, draw a slow breath. Rosemary and ash, cloth and stone. Life layered and imperfect. A question stirs. How will this new day write your name upon its scroll? Behind you, the maid stirs at last. Soft rustle of skirts, faint clink of pitcher on basin. Soon voices will rise, water will splash, the dance of duty will resume. But not yet. For one heartbeat more, you remain here, in the hush, in the not yet written. Outside, the first true light unfurls across the land. Slow, gentle, unstoppable. You whisper the oldest promise you know. I will endure. I will become. The moment holds, then passes, and so the day begins. Sleep now, traveler of old roads. You have walked far through time tonight. Rest easy, your tale lingers softly in the folds of dawn. Good night.